Have you ever looked up at the night sky, counted the countless stars, and wondered if someone or something is looking back at you? Humanity has always been haunted by this question. Are we alone in the universe? The mystery of aliens has fascinated philosophers, scientists, storytellers, and dreamers for centuries. But there's a deeper layer to this question. It isn't simply about whether aliens exist. It is about what they are. If aliens exist, do they qualify as living beings as we understand life? Or are they something entirely different, beyond the limits of our biology and imagination? To answer this, we must first look inward. What exactly makes something a living thing? On Earth, we define life through a set of biological rules: growth, reproduction, adaptation, response to stimuli, and the use of energy. From the smallest bacteria hiding in boiling vents deep under the ocean, to the tallest redwood trees, to human beings building civilizations, life follows these patterns. But if aliens exist, must they follow these same rules? Or could they redefine everything we think we know about being alive? The human mind has always been torn between awe and fear when imagining aliens. Science fiction has given us creatures of terrifying power, invaders with slimy skin, glowing eyes, and technology far superior to ours. At the same time, science has offered us the possibility of microbial life on Mars, strange chemistry on Titan, and mysterious signals from distant galaxies. Somewhere between imagination and science lies the real question: are aliens just a fantasy of our minds, or do they exist as true living organisms somewhere out there in the endless dark? This question is not trivial. If aliens are living things, even in the form of tiny microbes or strange plants, it changes everything about our place in the universe. It means life is not unique to Earth. It means the miracle of existence is not a singular event, but a cosmic pattern. On the other hand, if aliens are not living things, if what we interpret as aliens are actually illusions, artificial machines, or misinterpretations of natural phenomena, then perhaps life is far rarer than we hope, and Earth may be the only island of consciousness in an infinite ocean of silence. Scientists and thinkers across history have wrestled with this dilemma. From Aristotle to Galileo, from Carl Sagan to Stephen Hawking, each has contributed pieces to the puzzle. But no one has yet held the final answer in their hands. The cosmos remains stubbornly quiet, neither confirming nor denying the existence of life beyond Earth. We send signals into the void, we build telescopes to peer deeper into the stars, and we explore neighboring planets, but so far, the answer remains hidden. And so, we return to the question that sits at the very heart of both science and imagination: are aliens living beings or not? In the following sections, we will dive into what science, philosophy, and history say about this question. We will explore the meaning of life, the evidence we have so far, the doubts raised by skeptics, and the possibilities that may shape humanity's future. This journey is not simply about extraterrestrials. It is about us. For in searching for aliens, we are also searching for the meaning of life itself. Before we can even attempt to answer the question of whether aliens are living things or not, we must pause and examine a more basic issue. What does it mean to be alive? The answer seems simple at first glance, but the deeper we dig, the more complicated it becomes. Biologists have spent centuries refining the definition of life. On Earth, the scientific community generally agrees that living things share certain characteristics. These include the ability to grow, reproduce, adapt to the environment, respond to stimuli, and sustain themselves through the intake and use of energy. When we observe animals, plants, fungi, or even microscopic organisms, we see these patterns clearly. For example, a tree grows tall by using sunlight and water, reproduces by producing seeds, adapts to changing seasons, and responds to external threats such as pests. Even the tiniest bacterium, invisible to the naked eye, eats, divides, and evolves in response to its surroundings. This framework, however, was built entirely from the perspective of Earth life. We look around our planet, study the diversity of creatures here, and conclude, this is what life looks like. But is that conclusion too narrow? The universe is unimaginably vast, with billions of galaxies and trillions of stars, each possibly hosting planets with conditions unlike anything we know. If life exists beyond Earth, does it have to resemble what we see here? Must alien organisms follow the same biological rules, or could there be a completely different form of existence, life as we cannot yet recognize? NASA and other scientific organizations have long wrestled with this question. Astrobiologists often use a working definition of life, a self-sustaining chemical system capable of Darwinian evolution. This definition is useful because it focuses on two key processes: the ability to maintain itself and the ability to adapt and change over time. It is broad enough to include Earth organisms from bacteria to whales, yet flexible enough to allow the possibility of life that doesn't look like us. But even this definition has its critics. What if life does not rely on chemistry as we know it? What if somewhere out there, life could be made of pure energy, or based on silicon instead of carbon, or organized through magnetic fields rather than DNA? Already, we face a dilemma. The question, are aliens living things or not, depends entirely on how we define living. If we stick to the Earth-based definition, then alien life must have cells, consume energy, and evolve. But if we allow ourselves to expand our imagination, then perhaps living could mean something much broader, perhaps even something we are not yet capable of recognizing with our current science. Let's consider an example. On Earth, viruses exist in a gray area between life and non-life. A virus cannot reproduce on its own. It must invade a host cell and hijack its machinery to multiply. It does not eat, breathe, or grow like traditional organisms. Yet it evolves, mutates, and adapts in ways that mimic living systems. Scientists still debate whether viruses should be considered alive. If we cannot fully classify viruses here on Earth, how can we hope to confidently classify something alien, which may be far stranger than anything in our laboratories? This is why astrobiology, the science dedicated to studying the possibility of life in the universe, is both fascinating and frustrating. It forces us to confront the limits of our definitions. We are prisoners of our Earth-based perspective, trying to guess at what life elsewhere might look like. Every time we design a mission to Mars or Europa, every time we point a telescope at an exoplanet, we must ask ourselves, what signs of life are we even looking for? If aliens exist, they might not breathe oxygen, drink water, or even have bodies as we know them. And yet, despite these challenges, there is one unshakable truth. Life, however we define it, leaves traces. Living systems interact with their environments. They consume resources, release byproducts, and evolve in ways that leave signatures. Whether it is oxygen in Earth's atmosphere, methane in the air of a distant world, or unusual patterns of energy in space, these biosignatures are what scientists search for. The hunt for aliens is, in many ways, the hunt for these fingerprints of life, however faint or strange they may be. Thus, before we can answer whether aliens are living beings or not, we must admit a kind of humility. Our definition of life is not absolute. It is a starting point. It works for Earth, but the universe may laugh at our narrow categories. Aliens, if they exist, may challenge every boundary we have drawn, forcing us to expand our understanding of what it truly means to be alive. When people ask, are aliens real? What they often mean is, are aliens alive in the same sense that we are? While we have not yet discovered definitive proof, there is a vast and growing body of evidence that suggests life beyond Earth is not only possible, but perhaps even likely. In this part, we explore the most compelling arguments in favor of aliens being genuine living organisms. The first and perhaps most convincing argument comes from simple mathematics. The universe is unimaginably vast. Our own galaxy, the Milky Way, holds over 200 billion stars, many of which are orbited by planets. And beyond our galaxy lie billions of other galaxies. If even a fraction of these planets have conditions similar to Earth, liquid water, a stable climate, and a source of energy, then the probability that life has emerged elsewhere becomes overwhelmingly high. As the physicist Enrico Fermi famously asked, "Where is everybody?" A question now known as the Fermi paradox. But the paradox only highlights the silence of the cosmos, not the impossibility of life. Given the sheer numbers, the odds favor the existence of alien organisms, somewhere, somehow. If life happened once on Earth, why not elsewhere? In recent decades, scientists have discovered thousands of exoplanets, planets orbiting stars outside our solar system. Many of these worlds lie in what astronomers call the habitable zone, where conditions may allow liquid water to exist. Some exoplanets, such as Kepler, 452b or Proxima Centauri b, have become prime candidates in the search for extraterrestrial life. These discoveries strengthen the case for life elsewhere. Before the 1990s, we did not know if other solar systems were common. Now, we know they are everywhere. If habitable planets are abundant, then alien life might also be abundant. And if it exists, it must be classified as a form of living thing, even if it looks nothing like us. One of the most surprising revelations in biology came from studying extremophiles, organisms that thrive in environments once thought too hostile for life. On Earth, life has been found in boiling hydrothermal vents deep in the ocean, in frozen Antarctic deserts, in highly acidic lakes, and even inside radioactive environments. These discoveries prove that life is far more resilient and adaptable than we ever imagined. If bacteria can survive at temperatures above boiling or pressures crushing enough to kill humans instantly, then why couldn't life exist beneath the icy crust of Europa, in the methane lakes of Titan, or in the carbon dioxide atmosphere of Mars? The presence of extremophiles on Earth suggests that life is not fragile, but tough, capable of surviving in alien-like conditions. Our own neighborhood provides tantalizing clues. Mars, once thought barren, shows evidence of ancient rivers and possibly underground water reservoirs. The presence of methane plumes in its atmosphere is particularly intriguing because on Earth, methane is often produced by biological processes. Jupiter's moon Europa and Saturn's moon Enceladus both hide oceans beneath their icy surfaces. In 2015, NASA's Cassini spacecraft detected plumes of water vapor erupting from Enceladus, containing organic molecules, the very building blocks of life. Similarly, Europa's salty subsurface ocean may harbor conditions suitable for living organisms. These worlds remind us that life does not necessarily require Earth-like conditions on the surface. Hidden oceans, shielded from radiation, warmed by tidal forces, could easily nurture microbial life. If microbes exist there, they would be classified as living things, alien, but alive nonetheless. Organic molecules, the foundation of life, are not unique to Earth. Astronomers have detected amino acids, sugars, and other complex molecules in interstellar space, on asteroids, and even within comets. The famous 1969 Murchison meteorite, which fell in Australia, contained a rich mix of amino acids, some never seen on Earth before. This suggests that the chemistry of life is not confined to our planet. The universe itself appears to be life-friendly, scattering the raw ingredients everywhere. If the ingredients are so common, then it is reasonable to assume that life has assembled itself elsewhere too. For decades, scientists have listened for signals from other civilizations. While no confirmed alien broadcasts have been received, occasional mysterious signals have fueled speculation. The famous "wow" signal detected in 1977 remains unexplained to this day. Even though it was brief and never repeated, it showed how easily the cosmos might surprise us. If intelligent aliens exist, then they must be living things. Consciousness and intelligence cannot exist without some form of biological or perhaps biotechnological life. SETI represents humanity's faith that if life emerges frequently enough, eventually some of it will evolve into beings capable of communication. Finally, the argument boils down to probability. Earth is not special. It is one rocky planet orbiting an average star in a vast galaxy. Life here emerged relatively quickly, within a few 100 million years after the planet cooled. If life could begin so soon on Earth, it is likely it could have begun elsewhere under similar conditions. Mathematicians often reference the Drake equation, which attempts to calculate the number of civilizations in our galaxy capable of communication. While the exact numbers are debated, the equation illustrates an important point. Given enough stars and planets, life almost certainly exists beyond Earth. While the evidence in favor of alien life is compelling, science requires us to be cautious. For every argument that suggests the existence of extraterrestrial organisms, there are equally strong counterarguments that highlight the possibility that aliens may not be living things, or may not exist at all. Let us explore the reasons why skepticism remains alive in this debate. Perhaps the strongest argument against aliens as living beings comes from the absence of evidence. If life is common in the universe, where is it? With billions of stars and planets, it seems logical that intelligent civilizations should have arisen long ago. Yet despite decades of searching, we have found no definitive signals, no spacecraft visiting us, and no unambiguous traces of alien technology. This troubling mystery is known as the Fermi paradox. Some argue that the silence itself is evidence against alien life. If intelligent, living beings were common, they would likely spread across the galaxy, leaving signs we could not miss. The fact that the stars remain quiet may suggest that life is either extremely rare or fails to survive long enough to reach advanced stages. On Earth, life may appear robust, but its origin remains mysterious. How did non-living chemistry give rise to self-replicating organisms billions of years ago? Despite advances in biology, scientists have not yet recreated this process in the lab. It is possible that the emergence of life required an extraordinary series of accidents and conditions so unique that Earth may be the only planet where it has ever happened. If that is true, then aliens as living things may not exist at all. We might inhabit a lonely universe where the miracle of life is an exception rather than a rule. Space is an unforgiving environment. Radiation, extreme temperatures, cosmic collisions, and unstable climates make most planets inhospitable. Even within our own solar system, 9 worlds orbit the Sun, yet only Earth hosts life as we know it. Venus is a furnace, Mars is a frozen desert, Jupiter and Saturn are stormy gas giants, and their moons, while intriguing, remain speculative. If our solar system, a relatively stable and life-friendly neighborhood, hosts only one living planet, what are the chances that other systems, often more chaotic, could sustain living organisms? The odds may be far lower than optimists suggest. Many claims of alien encounters or discoveries have turned out to be false alarms. The mysterious WOW signal of 1977 has never been repeated. Reports of UFOs often dissolve under scrutiny, explained as weather phenomena, satellites, or human error. Even the detection of methane on Mars, once hailed as a potential biosignature, may be the result of geological activity rather than biology. Our imagination is powerful. Throughout history, humans have projected hopes and fears into the stars. From ancient myths of gods descending from the heavens to modern science fiction about interstellar empires, our stories often fill the void of evidence. Skeptics argue that belief in aliens as living beings may be more a reflection of human psychology than cosmic reality. Even if extraterrestrial entities exist, they may not fit our definition of living things. It is possible that what we imagine as aliens are in fact machines, self-replicating probes built by long-extinct civilizations. Such entities would be technological, not biological, and would not qualify as alive in the traditional sense. This possibility aligns with some versions of the Fermi paradox. Perhaps biological life rarely survives long enough to spread across the stars, but the machines it creates endure. If we ever encounter such beings, we might not be meeting aliens in the sense of organisms, but artifacts of technology, immortal yet lifeless. A theory known as the rare Earth hypothesis suggests that while microbial life may be relatively common, complex, multicellular life, creatures like animals, plants, and ultimately intelligent beings, is extremely rare. According to this view, Earth's unique combination of conditions, its large moon stabilizing the planet's tilt, its protective magnetic field, its plate tectonics recycling nutrients, and its relatively calm star, make it an extraordinary oasis in a hostile universe. If this hypothesis is correct, then aliens may exist only as simple microbes, if at all. The dream of meeting intelligent extraterrestrials, or even recognizing them as living things, may be unrealistic. Another argument against alien life is the factor of time. The universe is nearly 14 billion years old, while human civilization has existed for only a few thousand years. If aliens exist, they may have lived billions of years before us and gone extinct, leaving no trace. Or they may not have evolved yet. In this case, life may exist, but we may never overlap in time to witness it. From our perspective, the cosmos may appear lifeless, even if life has appeared elsewhere in different epochs. Science provides tools to search for life, but philosophy and religion provide meaning. For thousands of years, humans have turned to the heavens not only for knowledge but also for guidance, asking what our place in the universe might be. The question of whether aliens are living beings has stirred not just scientific debates, but also spiritual and philosophical ones. If aliens exist, what does it mean for humanity, for our sense of uniqueness, and for the great questions of purpose and creation? Philosophers have long wrestled with the question of what it means to be alive. Is life merely a biological process, or is it also tied to consciousness and awareness? From the perspective of materialism, life is nothing more than atoms arranged in self-organizing systems that consume energy and reproduce. From the perspective of idealism, however, life might be inseparable from mind and experience. This philosophical debate directly shapes how we think about aliens. If aliens exist as bacteria, are they truly alive in a meaningful way, or just complex chemical reactions? If they exist as intelligent beings, would they share consciousness similar to ours, or would their form of awareness be so different that we would struggle to even recognize it? For philosophers, the question of alien life is ultimately a mirror for humanity itself. By asking if aliens are living things, we are really asking, what is life and what is its value? Ancient civilizations often interpreted the skies through myth and faith. The Babylonians, Egyptians, Greeks, and Mayans saw the heavens as homes of gods and spirits. To them, beings from the stars were not aliens but deities, messengers, or supernatural forces. In this sense, aliens were always considered living in one form or another, sometimes as flesh and blood beings, other times as divine presences. Ancient myths of star people, sky gods, and heavenly visitors reflect humanity's instinct to see life and intelligence in the cosmos. Within Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, the question of alien life is deeply tied to theology. If God created life on Earth, did he also create life elsewhere? Some theologians argue that discovering alien beings would not challenge faith, but expand our understanding of creation. Aliens, if alive, would simply be part of God's vast design, brothers and sisters under the same creator. Others, however, worry that alien life might complicate doctrines of salvation and uniqueness. If Jesus came to Earth to save humanity, what about aliens? Would they require their own divine path? Are humans still special if life is common across the stars? These debates show how religion frames alien life not just as a biological possibility, but as a spiritual test of meaning. In Hinduism, Buddhism, and other Eastern traditions, the universe is seen as vast and interconnected. Hindu cosmology speaks of countless worlds, each populated by beings in different stages of existence. Buddhism, too, imagines many realms of sentient life beyond Earth. From these perspectives, aliens as living beings would not be surprising at all. They would simply be another expression of the universal cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. The question of whether aliens are alive becomes less about biology and more about their place in the cosmic balance of existence. In Islamic thought, the Quran mentions that Allah is the Lord of the worlds, plural. Some scholars interpret this to mean that there may be other forms of life in the universe, created by God just as humans were. In this sense, aliens as living beings would align with the vastness of creation. The concept of life beyond Earth in Islam is often framed as a possibility that does not contradict faith. If aliens exist, they too are part of Allah's creation, and whether they resemble humans or not, their existence would testify to God's infinite power. Existential philosophers approach alien life from a different angle. For them, the silence of the universe is terrifying. If aliens are not living beings and humanity is alone, then we are faced with the weight of being the only conscious species in an otherwise indifferent cosmos. This loneliness forces us to confront questions of responsibility. If we are the only thinking beings, then the survival of meaning, morality, and even life itself rests entirely on our fragile shoulders. On the other hand, if aliens are alive, it might mean we are not unique. While this might comfort some, it also raises its own existential dread. Humanity may not be central, special, or even important in the grand scheme. In modern times, many New Age and spiritual movements embrace the idea of aliens as advanced, enlightened beings. To them, aliens are not threats but guides, living entities who have evolved beyond war and selfishness, and who may one day help humanity evolve spiritually. This perspective blends science fiction with spirituality, portraying aliens as living not only in a biological sense, but also in a moral or even divine sense. For such groups, the question is not whether aliens are alive, but whether they can help us live better. From the very beginning of human history, we have looked to the skies and asked, are we alone? This question is not just scientific, but emotional, philosophical, and spiritual. In our journey through this script, we have explored every angle: the definitions of life, the scientific evidence that points toward alien existence, the skeptical voices that caution us against wishful thinking, and the religious and philosophical interpretations that shape our understanding of the unknown. The truth is, we do not yet know. Perhaps the universe is teeming with life, microbes swimming beneath the icy oceans of Europa, plants growing on faraway worlds, or even intelligent civilizations staring back at us through their own telescopes. Or perhaps life is unimaginably rare, and Earth is a fragile, isolated miracle in a vast sea of silence. But here is what we do know: the universe is unimaginably vast, filled with possibilities we have only begun to touch. Every new discovery, exoplanets, extremophiles, organic molecules drifting in space, reminds us that life may not be confined to Earth. Every silence, every unanswered signal, reminds us of our responsibility to cherish the life we do know, here on our small blue world. The question, are aliens living things or not, may remain unanswered for now. But in asking it, we discover something even greater. We discover that life itself, fragile, resilient, mysterious, is the rarest treasure of all. Whether aliens exist or not, the search unites us, drives our curiosity, and pushes us beyond the boundaries of what we know.